Texas is coming off a dominant road win in Ann Arbor, but it's time to get back to business with the UTSA Roadrunners heading to DKR. Why is the UTSA offense performing so poorly? Why is the defense struggling to slow opposing offenses? Which players can test the Longhorns? And most importantly, can Texas display that killer instinct this Saturday night in Austin? After the video, make sure to go to Inside Texas to stay locked in with your favorite team. Also, come hang out on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel where I'm live Monday through Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. CST. Crucial team news, up-to-the-minute recruiting updates, and insightful game analysis is dropping on the daily. Subscribe to InsideTexas.com and the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel today. Link in the description. The Longhorns are a real national championship contender this season. Now can they avoid any letdown and continue applying the pressure to a down UTSA squad? Without further ado, let's get into it. Usually I'd be nervous about this being a trap game because I do think so highly of Traylor and his culture, but something's off in San Antonio. Texas of course looks awesome this season, and UTSA just isn't their typical selves. I hope Traylor makes the move to Power 4 before his stock falls like Matt Campbell at Iowa State. Week 1, UTSA had a sketchy second half versus Kennesaw State, and then in Week 2, Texas State beat them down 49-10. This frankly doesn't look like a Jeff Traylor coached team. A quick illustration is UTSA's 10 penalties per game, 121st in the nation. Traylor's team haven't lacked this discipline since he took over there in 2020, and he sounded a little bit defeated, albeit realistic in his pressers. Looking at the offense overall, they run a lot of plays, good for 11th in the nation, but they're ineffectual, ranking 82nd in the country in points per game. A major reason for this poor output is UTSA can't run the ball, 108th in yards per rush with a measly 2.5 yards per carry. They lack consistency down after down, with the 113th worst rushing success rate, only gaining ground a third of the time. The Roadrunners are utilizing this super rotation at running back with 6 guys getting snaps, but let's take a look at the core 3. Robert Henry Jr. is first in attempts with 12, averaging a poor 3.9 yards per carry, a bottom tier 2.58 yards after contact per attempt, with only 1 run over 15 yards. He would rank 22nd of 34 halfbacks if he was added to the SEC. Rocco Griffin is a close second with 11 attempts and an awful 1.8 yards per attempt, followed by another awful 1.27 yards after contact per attempt, with 0 runs over 15 yards. He ranks 32nd of 34 SEC backs. Third in attempts is listed starter Kevorian Barnes with 6 attempts, averaging 4.7 yards per attempt, pretty good. A bottom fourth 2.67 yards after contact per attempt, not good, with 0 explosive runs as well. Barnes doesn't even have enough touches to be graded accurately. To use a technical term, the run game absolutely sucks. Which is strange because this Roadrunner offense was supposed to be able to put their faith in a super experienced offensive line. The O-line boasts a combined 238 career games played with 116 career starts, but that hasn't mattered so far. The highest graded UTSA run blocker is center CJ James Jr. at 53rd, right guard Corey Godinez at 54th, former Texas transfer right tackle Jalen Garth at 80th, left guard Vinley Tatafu at 82nd, and left tackle Kamar Missouri at 97th of 101 run blockers if added to the SEC, so that experience isn't paying off in production. If you can't run, then it's going to force your offense into predictable situations, and that can be tough on anyone, but especially an offense breaking in a new starting QB after phenom Frank Harris finally graduated last season. To try to make up for that lack of rushing ability, UTSA throws the 4th most pass attempts in the country. Quick concepts with an average of 6.7 yards per pass, but they lack that home run ability, ranking 87th in the country in passing explosivity. Single read, sit down at the sticks, screens, sideline throw, that dink and dunk type stuff. UTSA took in former Colorado transfer quarterback Owen McCown, son of NFL journeyman quarterback Josh McCown, and he got the start this season. You can see his dad's training on the field. He is decisive on the first read. He knows where the ball is supposed to go, but man, it's still tough for him out there. He's got a slightly below average 62% completion percentage and 7.4 yards per attempt. It's a super restrained offense with a second to last average depth of target at just 7.3 yards, with a low 2.44 second time to throw. So short distance and a quick time. He does all right navigating the pocket with a mid-tier 21% pressure to sack rate. He's only thrown 3 touchdowns, but he does have 0 interceptions. Numbers-wise, he's right down the middle on pretty much everything. He's not playing bad, but he's also not leading any impressive drives, and he looks emotionally disengaged at times on the sidelines. He's not able to play that hero ball Frank Harris could, and it seems to be making Traylor antsy. So McCown got benched in the second half of the Texas State game. Traylor tossed in redshirt sophomore Eddie Lee Marburger to try to stop the bleeding and introduce a little more playmaking. It didn't work. Marburger played worse in every category. Bad 5.7 yards per attempt. Awful 50% completion percentage. A 1-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. Marlboro ranks 19th of 20 quarterbacks if added to the Southeastern. Sheesh. The offensive line also isn't performing in the pass, ranking 14th of 17 teams if added to the SEC in offensive line unit pass blocking efficiency, giving up 2 sacks, 3 quarterback hits, 20 hurries, and 25 pressures in just 2 games. Their number one receiver is the versatile inside-outside threat Devin McEwen. The UTSA offense relies on him, pulling in 16 receptions on 21 targets with 2 touchdowns on the season. But due to this short game-centric offense, the 6', 195-pound sophomore only averages a bottom-of-the-barrel 6.8 yards per reception. And he doesn't do much after the catch either, with a 43rd ranked yards after catch per reception. His numbers aren't great, but he's better than the stats say currently. You can see he's frustrated on the field with the stalling offense. Overall, he ranks 20th of 69 SEC receiving threats. Number 2 in targets with 14 is outside receiver Willie McCoy, but he's only caught 43% of those balls. He's able to do more downfield stuff though, leading the team in deep attempts with a nice 19.3 yards per reception, good for 12th if added to the SEC. Senior McCoy is the one you want to watch out for on the occasional downfield strike, but down to down, he isn't doing too much. Overall, he ranks 50th of 69 SEC receivers. And number 3 in targets with 8 is the 6'5", 240-pound tight end Houston Thomas. He's only came down with 4 of those though, but he does have a solid 17.5 yards per catch, able to move from inline or to the slot. He ranks 44th of 69 SEC pass catchers. Number 4 is another tight end, Patrick Overmeyer, with 8 targets and 6 receptions, targeted more in the short game with a 10.3 yards per reception and 6.5 yard average depth of target. Overall, the 6'5", 230-pounder ranks 60th of 69. 5th in attempts is receiver DJ Allen with 7 targets, but he's only pulled in 3. He's got a decent 17.7 yards per reception, good for 18th in the league. But he's still an overall bottom half graded receiver if added to the SEC. And big tight end Oscar Cardenas does not make the cutoff due to low reception numbers, but you still need to watch for him as a trusted elder statesman that could be brought in to execute if, God forbid, this is somehow a weird close game. This is clearly not the talented receiving core we faced versus UTSA 2 years ago. So, low-performing offensive line in the run and the pass. Backs can't get a block or make their own plays. The QBs are apparently still battling going into week 3 of the season. And the receivers and tight ends don't have any top performers. There's not a lot to believe in here. They lack consistency, ranking 70th in offensive success rate. And they also can't come over the top with the explosive play, ranked 68th in overall offensive explosiveness. And on top of that, opposing defenses frustrate them with the 85th worst offensive havoc rate. With all these issues in totality, they rank 95th in the nation in the advanced stat OFEI. For the Texas defense, there's the obvious mismatch in the running game. The Texas defense is allowing 3.6 yards per carry, good for an above-average 55th ranked rushing defense. But the Horns do very well limiting the explosive run, good for 12th in the nation. And they're 15th in the nation for shutting down the power runs when teams need to convert those 3rd and 4th and shorts. Texas isn't the dominant run-stopping team of last year, but they turn it on situationally, and that's really all you need in the modern game. The Texas pass defense looks improved from last year, and UTSA loves to throw short. Texas is 22nd in the nation in yards per pass, limiting teams to just 4.9 yards per throw. Last year, Texas gave up 7.1 yards per throw, so big difference. Texas averages an awesome 2 interceptions per game as well, ranking 4th in the country. Be aware that UTSA is going to spam the short sit-down routes or the quick sideline throws, so don't let them convert the cheap stuff while taking away the quarterback's first read, and there shouldn't be too much stress here. I do want to see more productivity out of the pass rush, though, with concrete sacks, because Texas currently ranks 101st in the nation in sacks per game, at only half a sack per contest. We do really well on getting pressures, I just want to see the quarterback actually down on the ground and them losing yards. Even though UTSA likes to throw short, they're going to be forced into those passing downs because they have no run game on those early downs, so they're going to be forced behind the sticks. And of course, when facing a group of 5 opponent, be on the lookout for the trick plays and the hyper aggression. Remember 2 years ago, Traylor pulled out all the stops when we matched up. So the Texas defense isn't as dominant against the run this year, but they are more balanced, with impressive speed, power, and depth littered throughout the defense. Overall, this Texas defense is ranked 5th in the nation in the advanced metric DFEI. The UTSA offense is going through it right now, and unfortunately, the Roadrunner defense isn't performing any better. But before we hit the defense, the sponsor of today's video is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is a skill-based daily fantasy sports app where you can make college football player projections all season long. How does it work? You select 2 to 6 players and choose more or less on their Prize Pick projections. It could be passing yards, rushing yards, receiving yards, and more. And if those players score more or less than their Prize Pick projection, you can win up to 100 times your money this football season. I do a lot of Texas and opponent research, so I like to put my insights to the test, and Prize Picks is a fun way for me to put my money where my mouth is. Just hop on the Prize Picks app or website, go to the college football tab, and check out the player projections. It's a smooth process where you can make your entries in 60 seconds or less with fast withdrawals. It's that easy. As a first-time depositor, use promo code TexasHomer and get $50 instantly once you play $5 in lineups. You don't need to win your lineup to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. So sign up for Prize Picks, use promo code TexasHomer at sign up, and add even more excitement to your game day. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Link in the description. The UTSA defense isn't pulling their weight either, regardless of having solid athletes, especially for their conference. Due to playing an option team in week 1 and getting blown out in week 2, UTSA is facing a ton of runs on defense, ranking 102nd in the nation in defensive rush attempts per game. Though it is high volume, their per rush defense is actually a bit above average, ranking 40th in opponent yards per rush, giving up 3.1 yards per carry, so doing well there. They do struggle situationally, though, letting offenses convert on those short and gotta have it's, ranking 85th in the country there, while giving up the long run as well, ranking 83rd in defensive rushing explosivity. On the interior, preseason first-team All-AAC nose Brandon Brown, standing at 6'2", 320 pounds, is in the top half, graded 18th of 59 SEC run-stopping tackles. But that's it. On the outside, depth defensive end Ronald Triplett ranks 13th, and outside linebacker Jamori Robinson ranks 25th of 63 edges in the run game. On the second level, jack linebacker Jamal Ligon is the only top half player at 25th of 55 linebackers against the run. In the secondary, there are some game run stoppers. Depth corner Zay Frazier ranks 14th. Starting corner Cyrus Dumas ranks 17th of 58 corners. Free safety Ken Robinson does a great job, ranked first of 57 run-stopping safeties. So he'll come down in the run game and cause some issues. But not enough starters are performing at a top 10 level here. UTSA is also getting torched in the pass game, ranking 111th in the country in opponent yards per pass, with a 91st ranked opponent passing explosivity. Texas State did a lot of this damage as a really impressive offense, so it is likely overstated, but Texas can also pass with the best of them. All the linebackers really struggle here, with Mike Martavius French, depth Mike Brevin Randall, and Jack Jamal Ligon in the bottom 10 in linebackers and pass coverage. Starting corner Cyrus Dumas makes the top half, ranked 15th, but that's it for the corners. And strong safety Elliot Davison barely makes the top half for coverage safeties at 24th of 49. They aren't doing anything to turn teams over either, ranking 76th in the country, averaging just half an interception per game, so bombs away for Texas. But they do pretty good in generating sacks, ranking 43rd in the country, averaging 2 sacks per contest. As far as the big boys go, depth end Christian Clayton ranks 16th, and starting end Joe Evans ranks 20th of 44 pass rushing defensive interior if added to the SEC. On the exterior, depth edge Ronald Triplett ranks 3rd with 1 hit and 1 quarterback hurry. Starting outside linebacker Jamori Robinson ranks 12th, and adding 6 total pressures, 2 of which are sacks. On the second level, Mike linebacker Martavius French ranks 7th of 23 pass rushing SEC linebackers with 3 total pressures, 1 of which is a sack. Followed by money backer Owen Peewee at 12th with 1 quarterback hurry. The corners can also be sent on the blitz. Nickel Marcellus Wilkerson ranks 2nd with 2 quarterback hits, and starting corner Cyrus Dumas ranks 3rd with 1. So the pass rush is the strength of this struggling defense. UTSA this year just has leaks all over the field. When they hold teams to low yards per rush, they allow the explosive ones to nullify that. Their pass defense is suspect all around, and Texas State made that much more evident. UTSA has superior athletes and depth to a majority of their schedule, but they are discombobulated this season, and a number 2 Texas isn't likely to improve this trend for them. Overall, the Roadrunners are ranked 108th in the country for the advanced metric DFEI. The keys for the Texas offense sound like coach speak, but it is true in this case. The Horns need to focus on themselves and shoring up any potential weaknesses for teams down the road, as Texas is likely heading to face the cream of the crop in the playoffs. Quick example, the Texas offense is crushing it on third down, converting 57%, good for 12th in the country. But we are facing too many third downs in the first place. This is an issue continuing from last season, where Texas struggles on first and second down, particularly in the run. Texas ranks 95th in the nation in standard down success rate. So if Texas plays an elite third down defense, or they simply just have an off game converting, then the offense can go from looking elite to sputtering quickly. UTSA is currently 9th in the nation on standard downs defense, so even though Texas does have them outgunned, it will be interesting to see if this issue continues to put Texas into an over-reliance on third down conversions. It's been good enough for Colorado State, Michigan, and likely UTSA. It might not be good enough come Georgia or into December and January, so keep an eye on that. The Texas offense does a little better than average in their run game, ranking 49th in yards per rush at 4.6 yards per carry. Not bad with so many injuries, but it gets a little sketchier looking at the other run game diagnostics. Texas has the 67th rushing success rate, so we struggle to gain yards consistently, with the 95th ranked offensive line yards in the nation, struggling to get that push up front. The offensive line, like last season, needs significant improvement to make the run game automatic and therefore keep us out of too many third downs. We are average on those third and fourth and shorts, ranked 60th in the country in rushing power success rate, which is actually a huge improvement from last season as one of the worst teams in the country at playing power ball. The UTSA defense actually does well in defensive rushing success rate at 18th in the country, so they could annoy the Longhorns there. The Texas pass game is the strength of the offense, ranking 30th in yards per pass at 8.7 with the 19th ranked passing success rate. Of course, this is due to Sark's scheme, an experienced first-round quarterback, and a stable of receiving talent. The UTSA passing defense is also mismatched here. Currently, Texas is the 10th ranked overall offense according to the advanced metric OFEI, and should win this game decidedly. Of course, now I just jinxed it and we should expect a slugfest. The emotional high of winning big in the big house will be wearing off, and UTSA isn't at their full power, and the players and the coaches will see that on tape. So does Texas continue to play at its full capacity, or do we try to take the week off against the Runners? In earlier seasons, this would be a trap game, but it seems like Texas has turned that corner in year 4. But ultimately, we will see this Saturday night when the Roadrunners travel down 35 to face the number 2 Texas Longhorns at DKR. Thanks for hanging out. Watch some more of my videos here. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you want to support quality Texas content. As always, hook 'em.